Boom! What's up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I want to talk to you about why SoFi Technologies, or ticker symbol SoFi, is my #1 stock pick for the holiday season, especially after reading over the Q3 earnings report that they just released, which of course we will be covering. So the focus of this video is going to be fundamentals. I want to talk to you guys about why I have liked SoFi and why I continue to like SoFi. And again, this Q3 earnings report is really just that extra sense of validation and the cherry on top of kind of the base thesis that I've personally had and I've shared with many of you guys for the past couple of months now. Okay, so we will talk fundamentals. Of course, we will dive into trading view and talk some technicals as well. Give you guys some different price scenarios that I personally see playing out, as well as the price targets that I'm eyeballing over the next month or two. Okay, going into Christmas, you can see 12/16 is the date I have labeled there. So we will focus on that mid-December time horizon. Okay, so again, dive into the charts, talk some technicals. We will establish our fundamental argument first. And we do have this page right here simply to take a look at the price action that took place today following the earnings report, because it was pretty wild. And really to focus on the market cap of SoFi, which I believe is way too low. The earnings will help to justify that rationale. And again, I do also want to talk to you guys as we dive into the charts, just kind of talk to you about my general thoughts on the state of the markets right now. We do have a major day tomorrow with the FOMC meetings concluding and Mr. Jerome Powell making his speech. So near the end of the video, I'll kind of just give you guys my brief thoughts around that, how I think that will impact the markets, because hey, if that doesn't go well, this video could age terribly right off the bat. Okay, but again, if that is the case, which I don't think it will, but there's always the possibility, I just want to talk to you guys about what I see kind of reversing course in the case that the markets do see pain tomorrow following Fed Chair Jerome Powell's speech. Okay, so that's all fun, but of course we do have to kick it off with the earnings report. Again, just really talk about why SoFi just proved to many of us who have been bullish that there is still very good reason to maintain that bullish sentiment. Okay, so Business Wire, just straight to the point. We'll just read over this and then we'll dive into some more fundamental talk over here, okay, in the newsletter. So SoFi Technologies reports third quarter 2022 results. If you guys like SoFi, please give the video a like. Shout that out right now. Subscribe to the channel too if you're not for some reason already. Record gap in adjusted net revenue for the third quarter of 2022. GAAP net revenue of $424 million, up 56% year over year. That's a crazy gain. $419 million adjusted net revenue, up 51% year over year. Record adjusted EBITDA, earnings for interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization of $44 million, up 332% year over year and up 118% sequentially. New members adds of nearly, this is a big one, you guys, and this is what you like to see, and this is really what makes the fact that SoFi is a $4.5 billion company insane. So new member adds of nearly $424,000. Quarter and total members up 61% year over year to over $4.7 million. New product adds of over 635,000. Quarter and total products up 69% year over year to nearly 7.2 million. Management raises full year 2022 guidance. And that's something that you have almost not seen at all over the course of this Q3 earnings season. And the fact that SoFi is not only maintaining their full year 2022 guidance, but the fact that they're raising that is absolutely insane, you guys, especially considering pretty much every single company within the S&P 500 has wiped full year guidance or decreased or maintained it, I should say. It's either lowered or maintained, but to raise it is pretty damn insane in this given our macroeconomic backdrop. Okay, so here's this. You guys can just kind of take a, we don't need to do that. I mean, unnecessary. You guys can just pause here or go Google it for yourself if you want to do more reading. You can read some words from the CEO. He had a lot to say. I mean, their CEO is obviously extremely competent and doing a great job of navigating this economic storm, because SoFi just, I mean, blew this earnings report out of the water. And the stock did pop 20% today, okay? Upon open, popped, I think, about 18% to get specific. Closed the day up 5%. And if you guys are part of the newsletter portfolio group, if you read the trade alert this morning, which we are about to dive into, you know that I absolutely took advantage of hopping on some call options that were surprisingly in the red today. So just PSA off the bat as well, you guys, if you're trading options, always remember options contracts don't just trade on volatility, okay? Good example, SoFi stock popped hard today. Closed the day up 5%, but still certain options contracts were down 10, 20, 30%. So options contracts always trade on perceived volatility, underline on perceived volatility, not just price action itself. So not going to go deeper on that, but always remember that, you guys, okay? So that said, let's talk a little bit more fundamentals before diving into the charts and talking price action. Talk to you guys about my 850 price target by mid-December. Again, with the caveat that the Fed speech, Jerome Powell does not throw an absolute haymaker tomorrow, but we'll talk more about it at the end. Let's read first, very quickly, over the Trade Alert newsletter that I sent out this morning to, of course, the newsletter and portfolio group. So it's Tuesday. It's the first day of November, and we're kicking off small caps earnings season with a bang. You guys are so many small caps right now. Over the course of this week, specifically Luminar and Coinbase, just throw those names out right now, and coming up over the next couple of weeks that I'm personally well positioned in, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do in their earnings calls. So kicking off small cap earnings season with a bang. SoFi has concluded their Q3 report, and the results were impressive to say the least. So went over some of the numbers, the important numbers. Won't read over that again because we just did that. But again, the fact that this company sits at a market cap of only $5 billion, and once again, $4.5 billion because TradingView lags a little bit, but $4.5 billion as of close today is insane. You guys, so the reason for that, let's just take, again, revenue of $424 million. 424 times 4. The amount of quarters in a year is, let's round it to 16, maybe 17. Okay, so $1.7 billion in annual revenue at this trajectory, and of course they are growing. So if they just stall out for the next 4 quarters, the fiscal year, that would be $1.7 billion in revenue. Okay, they are just trading. So at 4.5 billion, they're trading at just around 3x forward annual revenue, which is absolutely insane, you guys. That is like the forward multiple of like a railway company that is like has like decelerating growth almost. Okay, just the most legacy boring company in the Dow Jones that you can possibly think of. That's kind of how that would be priced. So the fact that SoFi, again, up over pretty much over 50%, doubling in some aspects, is absolutely insane. And the fact that they're valued just 3x forward annual revenue is that's so difficult for me to justify, and I really don't understand. There are some reasons you can get into the funds that are kind of offloading shares and have been offloading shares. There are some under the surface reasons that it makes sense that SoFi stock is being suppressed and that the valuation kind of doesn't reflect it even for this shady market environment. But it's so obvious to me that if you're just trying to set it and forget it, this stock is one of the most like surefire trades, if not the most surefire trade that at least I'm aware of in the entirety of the market right now. Again, I do trade options on this. Many of you guys know that I'm an options trader, but if any of you out there are just looking for a stock to set it and forget it, just put $1,000 in, put $10,000 in, however much capital you can expend. Of course, always afford to lose, but with this, I don't think if you're just buying shares, I think the likelihood, not financial advice, of course, but the likelihood of this thing not 2xing over the next 2, 3, 5 years max is extremely low. And I think we could 2x over the next quarter or two. Okay, given the fact that the markets do make a comeback. Okay, so shares again only up around 8% at the time of ride and close the day up just around 5% in the wake of macro uncertainty. And we will cover the FOMC meeting price targets newsletter, which is the one I sent out for this. But this report was a gem, and I'm calling this one a win for Waves Capital. So you got the CEO. I mean, absolutely crushing it. SoFi, this has been one of the larger positions in the Waves Capital portfolio for quite a long time. It's done as good so far. Again, options were funky today, but hey, that's the game, you guys. And I'm glad, honestly, that I got to capitalize because I think SoFi, as you can tell by this chart, is going a long way from here. So before we talk technicals, before we talk price action, you guys, just took a look at the newsletter, the trailer newsletter. Send this out every morning. This is what you get when you sign up for the complete portfolio and daily newsletter group, along, of course, with my daily trailer newsletter, daily price target newsletter. The one I send out after this, we cover price targets, kind of charts. I take screenshots of all my trading view charts and whatnot. Talk about price action, price targets for some of my favorite small caps in the market. And again, SoFi is not, it is my favorite, and I will money where my mouth is. It is the largest position in the Waves Cap portfolio, in my personal portfolio, but there are, I think, 7 to 8 other positions, call options positions specifically, not just stocks, plenty more stocks, but more calls in the portfolio right now, small caps to mid caps that are announcing earnings that I'm very, very excited about. So if you guys want to know exactly how I'm trading on a day-to-day basis, what my personal portfolio looks like, all my call options, all my stock positions, crypto positions, shout out to Render. Render's been killing it. Render, the diamond in the rough. I will be making a video about good old Render token, my number one, over the next coming days, because that thing is crushing it relative to most cryptos. So again, if you guys want to join Waves Capital, if you want to step up your trading and investing game, learn from my successes, learn from my failures, almost more importantly. But first link in the description box down below will get you there. Again, go to the last page, head to this. You get everything that this entails, and you can select from each of these pricing plans, whichever suits you best. Hey, try it free for 7 days. If you don't like it, just unsubscribe. But I trust you'll be sticking around, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. And again, greatly appreciate it if you guys join the fam. Okay, so went over all of that. Not much more to cover on SoFi. I will say, you guys, the primary reason that I was bullish on SoFi initially, on top of these growth metrics, like their Q2 earnings report, have been just trading SoFi since their previous earnings report, when we absolutely crushed on that trade. SoFi popped like 30%. Waves Cap had a good month back in August. I think that was early August. But you guys, SoFi, base reason that I was so confident this earnings report was going to crush. First of all, banks kicked off Q3 earnings season a week or two ago. Okay, a couple of weeks ago now, I think. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, they all crushed earnings because people are taking out more lines of credit than they have in the past. Money's running out. Inflation is up. Interest rates are rising. Money is far more scarce than it was during pandemic times. Of course, unemployment, helicopter money has stopped. Stimmy has stopped. Stimmy's over. But fortunately, the spending habits that people, the nasty spending habits, the unsustainable spending habits that many individuals out there accumulate isn't the right word, but the spending habits that many people obtained over the course of the pandemic have not been wiped out. Okay, a lot of capital, a lot of money, a lot of the net worth of many individuals has been obliterated, but the spending habits, because it's a habit and habits are hard to break, have stayed. Okay, that's why the banks are crushing it right now. That's why SoFi is on absolute fire. It's because people still have the spending habits that they developed during the pandemic, but have not yet disposed of, even as their capital goes down, even as their net worth, their bank accounts falter. Okay, so when people need money, when people want to spend but they don't have the money to do so, they will take out lines of credit. And that's why if you guys, which I do recommend it, if you're invested, go read over more specifics from this Q3 report. Go down, read over where the money's coming from, where the revenue is coming from, because a big aspect of it is again this personal loan space. So again, people need money, people need lines of credit. SoFi provides those lines of credit, and that's why SoFi was an easy bet. So that's just what I wanted to caveat. That was my primary fundamental argument, and that continues to be it moving forward, because over the holiday season, people are still going to run out of money, and I mean, people are still going to spend. It's the holidays. People are still going to spend, even if they don't have the money. That's the unfortunate reality of the human psyche. So that said, bullish on SoFi. SoFi, as you guys can see here, I'll first break down this head and shoulders pattern. Okay. First of all, let's talk about SoFi's price action today. You can see this big, old, massive candle to kick off the day. Nice initiation of the second wave. I do still think the second wave is just beginning right here, but big old candle. Again, over the course of the day, up 18%. In the early hours of trading, close the day down 5%. Absolutely take advantage of that. But the volume is here. We're looking good. We have reclaimed the prior ascending channel. We didn't close the day below, which kind of sucks, which is what I really would have liked to see personally. But we did break back above this previous ascending channel, almost kind of range very organic ascending channel right here, very stark and organic, which means again just not a very impressive ascending channel, I should say. But we are back in this trading range. Okay, again, support, resistance, creating this channel. Broke back above it, did not close above it. I do think we will tomorrow or the next day, whenever the markets make their comeback, which I do think is coming. But that is one. So in the case, this is pretty much my most optimistic scenario over the course of the next 45 days up until mid-December. The reason for this is because this is a major options expiration date. Hint it, maybe I'm trading some options that expire on the 16th. Okay, so you guys, best case scenario in my opinion for SoFi, the case that really like institutions come pick them up. Maybe they get, this is so speculative and I don't even want to put weight on this, but they get if maybe JP Morgan, maybe a large bank wants to acquire them because they are coming up fast and they're posing major competition for the major banks because they are banking 2.0 pretty much. Okay, so in the case that everything goes completely right for the markets and for SoFi specifically as a company, I mean, if they get acquired, could go much higher than this. I think SoFi IPO'd at like $11. Personally, I think SoFi belongs more like closer to 11, 10, at least $10, $11 from a fair value perspective, even in this economy. But I do think technically by mid-December, SoFi can potentially see about $9.20 to test the top end of this range and just testing resistance on, again, the range that's been in place since mid-May. Okay, so that's that, you guys. Talk about the head and shoulders pattern that I'm seeing right here, and will take us to kind of my base price target for SoFi, which is this orange line right here, or about 35% up from current levels. Okay, let's turn this orange just to make that a little more. Boop, boop. Okay, so inverse head and shoulders pattern. Obviously, actually the bullish sibling of the head and shoulders pattern. It's just a head and shoulders pattern. Two shoulders, shoulder, shoulder, head, flipped upside down. Therefore, it's called the inverse head and shoulders. Right now, we're printing that, and that, of course, is, as I just said, a bullish pattern. Okay, you get the left shoulder right here, or right shoulder if you want to inverse it, whatever. Left head, other shoulder right here. Okay, in the case that we continue to go sideways, which is absolutely possible, maybe just hug the line of support right here, because we have once again kind of somewhat reclaimed this level of support. I do think we could go sideways, maybe a little up, maybe a little down over the next week or so. But ultimately, you guys, I do think, and I will say this right now, and I just said this in the newsletter, I do think that the October CPI data, which is released on November 10th, the October CPI data comes out. If that data shows inflation still heating up, then we have a major problem. But that seems just extremely unlikely. I do think that even in the case that the Jerome Powell does rock the markets tomorrow with his speech, I do think that the October CPI data will recover, will allow the markets to recover, or vice versa. Honestly, if the markets rip following the speech, the October CPI data might blunt the market rally, so just keep that in mind as well. But I do think that November 10th, October CPI data will act as a catalyst either to the upside or downside for SoFi. Because they're just what we just looked over is so strong, it's so promising from a fundamental perspective, I think, and technicals, you guys, technicals are more valid than ever with more quants trading the markets. I do think SoFi will play out this inverse head and shoulders pattern. There are many other names playing out similar patterns to this. Again, covering them in the newsletter all the time. Many names announcing earnings as well. So fundamentals are lining up. Technicals are lining up. We are coming out of a period of just mass consolidation and mass selling and a lot of sideways price action, honestly. So I do think SoFi can play out this inverse head and shoulders pattern. First price target, conservative price target, is going to be about 775. I think SoFi can, reach 775 at the very least by December 16th. And that is my conservative price scenario. Still optimistic. It's still possible. Of course, SoFi just, this is just a false rally, and we just continue the downtrend from here like we have over the past few months. But always know, you guys, my money is where my mouth is, and I'm excited to see what happens with SoFi. So please let me know what your favorite stock of the holiday season is. Again, I have plenty that I'm trading right now, and I look forward to seeing you guys in Waves Capital for real. Until next time, you guys, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.